Got it. Okay, I'm just getting set up here. If the YouTube is working, it's not showing me that YouTube's working yet. So I'm working on that. As soon as YouTube's working, I will be going live over on Facebook. Okay. I will edit this YouTube video towards the end here because I only know what's on there. All right, we are live on YouTube. What just happened here? None of that. 3, 2, 1. We are now live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Over on Facebook, we are live here on my profile, but we are also live over in our group, Homemaking Made Easy for Traditional Wives. And today we are talking about how to take those, what a lot of people would call outdated relationship roles, and bring them into your modern day relationship. But I like to call them old-fashioned values. So we're talking about bringing back those old-fashioned values in a modern relationship. I think it's really important. I think we've gotten ourselves into a specific situation, not just in this country, but like in general, where the divorce rates are really high. And yes, I know there's like a lot of different reasons for that. But I think that if we really started treating our relationships a lot more like our grandparents did, or our parents, depending on how old you are, we'd be better off overall. So I've got a few topics that I want to talk about, just going along with this. I am starting to get a little short of breath, just in general, being just over 38 weeks pregnant. So keep that in mind as we go through all of this. I want to start with number 1, mutual respect. I see so many people online who are talking about negative things with their partners. And most of the time when I read the stories, it comes down to a lack of respect for each other. Having mutual respect for your partner, it doesn't mean that you're going to let them walk all over you or they're going to let you walk all over them. But it goes both ways, and it's important in any relationship. Respecting your husband's thoughts and choices, in return, he's going to respect your thoughts and choices, even in disagreements. I personally allow my husband to be the head of our household. He makes the final decisions on things. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that I have no voice. It doesn't, trust me, if you know me, I have a voice, and it's loud and it's proud, and it will speak its mind at any given point in time. He loves my opinions. It's part of why he married me. But he respects me enough to hear what my thoughts are before making a final decision. But if we disagree on something, I respect him enough to realize that A, he's making a decision that is probably best for our family, and B, he's not going to do something just to irritate me. That's not his goal in life. His goal in life is to do things that are going to be the best choice for our family. And worst case scenario, he's wrong. Oh my God. It's not a big deal if somebody is wrong. I promise you. The next thing I see missing a lot from people is honesty and trust. I see this a lot in a lot of the marriage groups that I'm in and a lot of the mom groups that I'm in, especially the trust factor. We just don't seem to trust our partners anymore. And yes, trust me, I get it. There are a lot of people out there that are not worth your trust. But I think we need to take the time to really build those foundations before we do things like get married and have kids. Because the more we build those foundations, the more trust we're going to have in our partner. I've had people ask me on the internet, what are you going to do when your husband cheats on you? I tell you this right now, he's never going to. That is 100%. I have zero doubts in my mind that that is never going to happen. And I know a lot of women don't have that zero doubt feeling with their husbands. We need to build that foundation so that we do. And that's going to start with communication. Most of the time, when I am reading through these stories of people who are having all these issues in their relationships, it comes down to communication. The communication sucks. It just doesn't exist. They don't talk to each other about the things that they're having issues with. They don't talk to each other about the needs that they have in their relationship. Instead, they go to the internet and they tell everybody else on the internet what's wrong in their relationship and why it's not working, but they won't talk to their partner about it. I don't do that. I just don't. It's very rare that anybody ever hears anything that I would even slightly remotely consider an issue that I haven't talked to my husband about already. I don't talk about negative things with him or about him to people, because people don't need to know if he irritated me because he didn't get the dishes done. People don't need to know that I was irritated because he didn't vacuum or something like that. Like, not necessary. But I communicate those needs to him. If I'm having a situation where, for example, I've been driving for Lyft a lot lately, I've asked him specifically to help me out a little bit more around the house. That's a communication thing that we've had. Not that he doesn't help out around the house, but I wanted to say, these are the points that I need help with. This is exactly what I would like you to be doing. Can you help me with these things? Communicate, done, we're good. It literally just fixes everything. So having those open chats and being able to constantly have those conversations with your partner is something that I just don't see happening in today's modern dating and marriage world. Shared responsibilities, or responsibilities in general, identifying what your responsibilities are. As a full-time homemaker, my responsibility is to take care of my house. That is my number one responsibility, at least for another couple weeks. In a couple weeks, that number one responsibility becomes taking care of my baby. But in a traditional marriage, you see specific gender roles. I think it works great. I think it works awesome for me and my household. It may not be what you want to do. It may not be what works for you, and that's fine too. But it's really key for you guys to back each other up in whatever your roles are. So if his job is to cook dinner every night and yours is to do the dishes because that's what you've agreed on, those are the roles that you've set aside for your marriage. The problem comes in when we don't actually, back to communication, discuss those roles. What is your job? What are the things that you should be doing? We have to discuss everything. All of this can come down to communication. The next thing I see a lot of people having struggles with is finances and how they get split or don't get split or whatever in their marriage or long-term relationships. I understand a lot of people aren't getting married right now, so I use the word marriage. Andy and I were together for 7 years before we got married, and we lived together for 6.5 of those years. We treated everything the same way we do now that we are married. It was our money, our bank account, our bills. Finances in a traditional marriage usually involve one person going to work and one person who is taking care of all of the management tasks. So in my relationship, Andy goes goes to work and brings home the money. I manage the money and make sure everything gets paid. It was actually something we recently had a discussion about because I was asking him for more help around with things. And I was like, well, one of the things I can't even ask for your help with at this point is managing those finances, because I've got all the logins. They're all saved to my phone. I know when they're due off the top of my head. Like, I've been doing this for so long. It's just not something that I can just say, hey, could you take over paying all of the bills? I'd have to write him such a long list. But if we had done where he makes the money and pays the bills, like I know a lot of couples do, I would have a hard time taking over those bills. Another thing with financing is making sure that you decide together on budgeting, spending, and saving. If we're not on the same page, one of us is going to be a high spender, the other one's going to be a low spender. We're not going to meet in the middle, and we're going to have arguments. Finances are the number one reason for divorce, still to this day. And a lot of that comes down to, you guessed it, communication. Family planning. Ooh, this is a big one. Again, family planning. I told Andy from the beginning of our relationship that I was not having kids until we got married. I know that doesn't work for everybody. I know not everybody wants to get married, but it was something that we made a decision together that we would not start a family until we got married. A lot of my friends, I love them all, did not plan to have kids. It just happened, which is what happens when you don't discuss family planning. And there's nothing wrong with having surprise babies. Nothing wrong with it at all. Every single one of my friends who has kids, that whether they planned them or didn't plan them, or it just happened out of the blue, they love their kids to death. They are great parents. It works, but it can cause a big stress in the relationship when you're not ready to start having kids together. Maybe you don't even know each other well enough to start having kids together. So making sure that you're on the same page with when to start a family, and then also on the same page with how you're going to raise your children. That's something that is huge in the groups that I see. I see a lot of people who don't like the way their husband disciplines, or don't like the way that he parents, or maybe they don't like that they feel like he's not parenting at all. And we all grow up in different households. We all grow up in different environments. So we need to agree on what your responsibilities are going to be as a parent before you have kids. And if you do have that oopsie baby, or I don't even want to call it an oopsie, because babies are never oopsies. If you have the unexpected pregnancy, you need to start having those conversations right away. Whether you've been together for 6 months or 6 years, start having those conversations if you haven't had them already. Let him know what your expectations are. Again, communication. I could have just called this how to communicate in a relationship, or the topics that people need to communicate about in a relationship. Next one is going to be extended family. I love my in-laws. If any of you see this, I love you all so much. Like, I have the best in-laws. And I can say that because I've been married before and I didn't have the best in-laws. I mean, some of them are really great, but not all of them. It was a crazy moment. And Andy's getting home right now, so the dog's going to start barking. Sorry. But sorry, you guys. Come here. Hi. I'm going to pet you. I lost my train of thought for a second. Here we go. Okay. So in-laws, they can have a really big impact on your relationship, especially if you live close to them. We don't live close to either one of our in-laws. My mom's in Florida. His parents are in Illinois, and our families are not in our state. So it's not really a big issue for us. But I have had a situation in my past where it was a pretty big issue. I don't even want to dive into it because it's not really many people's business, but there was a very close situation happening, and it caused a lot of turmoil in our marriage, a lot of it. And it really came down to me not feeling seen and heard as a wife, and him not wanting to, trying to think of the right words here, him not wanting to leave and cleave. That's really the best way to describe it, is biblically. Leave and cleave, y'all. That is how we are supposed to handle our marriages. So both partners really just need to openly discuss their expectations about involvement from their in-laws. Because that's really what it is what do you expect? Do you expect to go to dinner every week at your parents' house because that's what you've done your whole life? Your partner needs to know that. Do you expect that your mom is going to be the main babysitter for your kids? Partner needs to know that. So just discuss what your expectations are with in-laws before it becomes a problem. Patience. In modern relationships, heck, in modern life, none of us have patience. It's something I work on all the time. But patience is so important, whether it be with your partner or your kids or your family or your friends. Patience is a virtue that we all need to be working on. Taking a moment to listen to and understand your partner's side during a rough time takes patience, but it can really strengthen your bond. So just remember to be patient in the moments that you really kind of want to blow your lid. I've been there. Actually, I had a friend message me today about her cast iron skillet that her husband completely ruined. I can't even say ruined. It's cast iron. You can't ruin it. You just got to work with it. You got to work on it. But I'm like, okay, so it's time to scrub it down. It's time to reseason it. It's all good. You got to be patient. And working together is going to be the last one. A lot of people are not working together in their relationships. They are two ships passing in the night. So I'm live. Andy just walked in, you guys. I'm almost done. But it's crucial to make an effort to work together on things and to be a team. Being a team in your relationship is something that I just don't see happening. I'm seeing people who are living together as roommates. They may be intimate roommates, but they're living together as roommates. They're not working together and helping each other grow. And I've seen my friends who have done amazing things. Oh my gosh, have they done amazing things? And one person is like way up here, growing and thriving and doing all of these awesome things with their life. And the other partner is staying stagnant. So working together is going to help both of them grow. And that's really all I've got for you guys tonight, which is perfect timing since Andy just walked in. And I will see you guys next week. It's a surprise topic because I'm not sure if I'm having a guest.